find means and ways, cut off the mesh or whatever that is there to prevent them from using the footbridge and still walk across the road at their own peril. Mr. Speaker, the maker of this statement spoke about gay walking. And Mr. Speaker, it will be interesting to note that both our Road Traffic Act and LI 2180 have made it an offense for gay walking. It appears that our law enforcement agencies does not pay attention to this. And if you slap somebody, you are likely to be detained in police custody, or you find yourself before a law courts the next moment. However, this law on gay walking is very clear, very punishable. And if you care to know, I don't think from the time that this Honorable House made it an offense that if you engage in gay walking in any part of our street is an offense, whether one person has ever been prosecuted to that effect. And so my emphasis on this statement is that the best way that we can achieve so much as far as the prevention of deaths on our roads is concerned is to educate, make sure that our security agencies begin to enforce this aspect of our law, that is gay walking, by making sure that people are taken to court, and where possible, maybe this House can review the punishment on gay walking and make it a bit minimal, so that at least the more they are able to continuously take them to the law courts and ensure that they are fined, it will go a long way to encourage people to use the footbridges and then reduce the level of carnage as far as pedestrians are concerned on our street. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to add my voice as far as this subject matter is concerned. Thank you very much.
Yes, let me go here. Honorable Member for Suhuma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and I thank the maker of the statement for bringing this jaywalking menace to the fore. Mr. Speaker, in fact, I use the Adenta Legon Road every day, and it is so sickening that I remember when these foot bridges were not there. Citizens from Shashi, Medina, Adenta organized countless demonstrations that they needed the footbridges. So it forced government to construct these footbridges. Now these footbridges have been constructed, and pedestrians still go back to their old ways. I think that apart from employing education and the security agencies in curbing this attitude, our engineers should also look at a way to redesign the footbridges so that certain structures that will prevent pedestrians from jaywalking can be incorporated in the bridges, so this jaywalking can be prevented. I thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Have you spoken before? Okay, let me give you the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And let me take this opportunity to thank the maker of the statement. The issue of footbridge, when it comes to my constituency, is a major problem. The road construction between Ofanko to Insawam has a lot of footbridges that are supposed to be constructed. But since December, it looks as if the contractor has abandoned the construction works on that road. There are children who live on one side of the road and happen to attend school on the other side of the road. It's become very difficult. Early in the morning, you see kids trying to scale the concrete walls that have been built to divide the road to try and get to school.
You are the MP for Amasaman?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a plea to the sector minister to try and get in touch with the road contractor who is in charge of the construction of Fanko and Sawam Road to try and speed up the work. When it rains, the condition on that road is so bad. And when there's no rain, the issue of dust is a problem. So we plead with the sector minister to try and see this matter as an urgent matter so the contractor can get back on the road and get this thing taken care of. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Very well. So you use the statement to call on the minister to... Yes, Honorable Member for Tafo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me congratulate my brother, the Honorable Ahmed, for this wonderful statement on this floor. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, let me indicate that there is a legal underpinning as far as the footbridges are concerned and how they are supposed to be used, whether they are also punitive measures and what have you to it. If you check the Road Traffic Regulations 2012, that is the LI 2180, it makes it mandatory for pedestrians to use footbridges that have been provided at designated sections of highways to prevent road crashes. So, Speaker, it is interesting to note that when you check the same LI 15410, it also indicates that failure to be able to use these footbridges amounts to an offense, and you are supposed to be punished for that. Until recently, I used to use the La Paz main road very well. The Speaker, if you see the disregard that pedestrians give to some of these rules as far as the footbridges are concerned, it's an eyesore. My brother, the Honorable Jerry Ahmed, mentioned about 4 things that we can do to make sure that we can deal with this challenge. One thing that I want to add is that this challenge will have to be dealt with by the various municipal and district assemblies. They are supposed to be capacitated. They are supposed to take optimum interest in dealing with some of these issues, especially because when there are accidents, normally the people who have their properties and their other things being destroyed are people living in their own communities, people living in their own districts and municipalities. And so if the district assemblies and the municipals do not take keen interest as to how some of these public awareness will have to be done, for them to know that failure to obey these rules, these laws under the Road Safety Authority can lead to an offense that may be punishable whether by imprisonment or, if you like, a fine. In the absence of that, I do not see how we are going to deal with this issue. And so I am adding to the points that were made by the Honorable Jerry Ahmed that the municipal assemblies, the district assemblies should take keen interest in dealing with this menace. Mr. Speaker, one key thing that I may also want to mention is respect to design and accessibility improvement. It is also very key because how these footbridges, or if you like, highways have been designed and constructed in ways that are accessible to all, especially to people who are disabled, is also very key. Because if you check the one that is at La Paz, clearly it is not friendly to disabled. And so it becomes very difficult for persons who are living with disability to be able to ply some of these footbridges. And so, Mr. Speaker, without adding much, I want to send a strong signal to the municipal assemblies to take keen interest in dealing with footbridges and the challenges that comes with it. Thank you so much for the opportunity granted me.
Obviously, let me give it to the lady. Yes, Professor Yensu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for allowing me to make...
Oh, you are leaving?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for allowing me to make a comment on this statement on footbridges. First, I would like to commend the maker of the statement in bringing up this very important topic. Mr. Speaker, when you look at footbridges in Ghana, I think that jaywalking, we need to do public education on jaywalking. But the real issue is, I believe, is the design of the footbridges. Oftentimes, the footbridges are not in the right place. They are not in the area where there's heavy traffic. And secondly, they are too complicated. When you look at the Medina Adenta footbridge, it's almost...
Hold on. Are you speaking from your own experience or from the public, the way public are speaking?
I'm speaking
Mind
from...
you, these are done by experts.
Mr. Speaker, I believe I'm calling an expert to re-look at design. And I'm also calling an expert to re-look at construction. And that is why I'm making that specific statement. So if we re-look at design, I believe that will make the footbridges less complicated. So that one, the handicapped people will be able to access these footbridges. Two, that these footbridges will actually be in places where there's serious heavy traffic so that people will not be forced to jaywalk. Mr. Speaker, I truly believe that there should be public education on jaywalking, but I also believe that sometimes design can also push maybe attitudes or attitudinal changes so that we can use the design to change attitudes. And that is what I'm talking about, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to commend the maker of the statement again, and I would also like to call on the Minister for Roads to also look at, in Isikado Ketan constituency, to look at the Kojokrom Bridge. It's been a bridge that has been in existence since the colonial days. It is on a major highway. There is no footpath to that bridge, and so there's a lot of accidents on the road. So I'd like to take this unique opportunity to call on the Minister of Roads and Highways to really look at the Kojokrom Bridge and see if we can give them a footpath to prevent the major accidents and morbidity and mortality that is happening on that road. Thank you again, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to have this, make this statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me come to you, Surveyor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity. Let me also thank my colleague Ahmed Shai for a statement ably made. First of all, let me say that the issue about the jaywalking, as an engineer, I will not agree that we have not designed at places that there are heavy traffic. A lot of things go into the design of these structures. People believe that everywhere there's a bus stop, there should be a footbridge. And it will be too difficult and too clumsy for us engineers to consider these issues. And people also believe that just by the bus stop, it should be there. Sometimes we give space for people to walk a little bit before they can use the footbridges. It's unfortunate that, like my colleague from Suhum said, there were a lot of demonstrations on this Adenta stretch of the road when the road was being constructed and there were no footbridges. But as soon as they were constructed, we still saw a lot of people crossing over and be hit by vehicles, resulting in fatalities. I'm sure that if we can just take a little bit of our time in considering our life and hazards that are associated with this jaywalking, I'm sure we'll be more considerate in the acts we take
in crossing the road. It's unfortunate that after investing so much, the maker of the statement said, Mr. Speaker, we must, I think the second to last paragraph, Mr. Speaker, we must remember that road safety is a shared responsibility. While the government continues to invest in infrastructure, it's equally important that we all take responsibility for our actions. It's true that we invest so much in getting these things done, but after it's done, it becomes a home for the destitute and also for hawkers who rather will use the footbridges as marketplaces. Sometimes it discourages people from meandering their way through all these hawkers on the bridges, and it forces them to rather use the roads themselves. And so we should have to educate, like all of us are saying, the public to know that the footbridges, we have invested so much in it for their use and comfort. Another issue that plagues us is with these Okada riders. On the bridges in Sogakope, Sokwe, Tefles, and all other environs, we have a lot of issues with knockdowns on these bridges. Sometimes because people are hydrophobia or acrophobia, they fear to use the size of the bridge between the road itself and then the rails. And so sometimes this also results in vehicular knockdowns of pedestrians. And so, yes, design, maybe that bridge is so old that new designs will take cognizance of some of these things and then do them to help. The last issue I want to talk about, Mr. Speaker, is also about our motorcycles using the motorway. It is so bad that these days we have to be shuffling between motorbikes and tricycles on the motorway. Meanwhile, according to Section 98 of the Road Traffic Act of 2004, Act 683, it says that no person shall ride a motorcycle or tricycle on a motorway. And the regulations 23 of that same road traffic regulations of 2012, LI 2180, also says that. But it's unfortunate that these days you see tricycle loaded with garbage using the motorway. Meanwhile, that is a high-speed highway. And so let us educate these people to understand that motorcycles cannot use the motorway. Sometimes if you try to educate them, they will ask you sarcastically, are you not buying fuel? Are we also not buying fuel? It is not the issue about who buys fuel into his vehicle or his motorbike, but it's about whether you are allowed to use or not to use. So I'm sure with these things, where we continue to educate people, people will come to understand what they can do and what they cannot do, so that we can save a lot of lives. On this note, I want to appreciate my colleague, Jerry, again for the statement ably made. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to have a bite on this statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Statement. This footpath, pedestrians are not using because they think they don't want to go to the extent of climbing something. But what I see is there are some places that are in need of these bridges, but they are not getting it. So what I want to bring on board is we should engage our security on the road when they see a pedestrian using the road instead of the footbridge. They have to deal with the person. In a way, we should all come together so that we can manage this issue. On the issue of traffic at times on the road, these are the same people who have been causing that traffic. Instead of them to use the pedestrian bridge, they will not be using it, but they want to use the road. On the issue of the La Paz issue that my brother Tafo mentioned, sometimes when you are using a car by road and you see a pedestrian, instead of him to use the bridge, you want to get a shortcut by crossing the road. You have to wait, although the traffic may be on. I mean, the green light will come, but you have to wait for the pedestrian to cross before you can also pass. So I want to bring it to the House that we all have to take a critical look at that so that such a thing will be a thing of the past. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes.
It's me. He said, or him.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's been a very long road trying to catch your eye. And it looks like Mr. Speaker is either looking on the left or on the right, never in the middle. But I'm grateful and for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by...
Is it the first time you're speaking?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and then I want to associate myself with the statement made by my friend from Wejagbawe. Mr. Speaker, I want us to look at it this way. You say, do not cross the Mediterranean Sea. It's dangerous, but you will find people crossing it to find greener pastures. It's the same thing we must look at when we are talking about these footbridges. It's very easy for us to say, there's a footbridge. So why are you looking for a shortcut? The first thing we must ask ourselves, how many are the footbridges? How accessible are they? Human beings as we are, we will always find an easy way out. How are the bridges like? I am crossing over to Mr. Speaker. The bridge is standing far there. I'm looking at Mr. Speaker, and then there's a snake that's moving all around. And I'm asking myself, let's be honest with ourselves in this house. Sometimes you see the yellow light and you tell yourself, I can cross this yellow light quickly. Let me just cross before it's red. So that's the way we must see human beings. So as engineers too, when we are designing things, we must take the sociology, the psyche of the people into consideration. We must understand that these are human beings. There's no human being who would want to put his or her life at stake to cross a busy road. Mr. Speaker, having said all this, we need to look at the burden such a situation has on our health system. Between January and August of 2024, we had close to 14,000 road traffic accidents. If you look at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, 50% of the mortalities that were seen in the emergency unit were from road traffic accidents. 60%, sorry. Out of that 60%, 50% of those were pedestrians. So we are looking, the bedding, you can look at the cost that comes with keeping one patient in an ICU in a day. So all I'm saying is that, Mr. Speaker, let's look at the design of our footbridges. Let's educate the people. If we educate the people, we make the designs accessible, we make it better for the people, our people are going to use those footbridges. On this note, thank you for helping me clear my throat, and I'm hoping that more often you'll be looking towards this treaty. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. From which constituency?
Mr. Speaker, I'm from the constituency of your good friend, Honorable Hadi Tufero, Nanton. Thank you.
Nanton. Yes. Oh, very well. Very well. Good. Good. But you people, you just came in. Yes. So from him, I'll come to you. Yes, mention us out.
Mr. Speaker, permit me to commend my brother Jerry Shaib for bringing to the fore such an important matter. Mr. Speaker, considering the investment we make in the construction of footbridges, it therefore necessitates serious education so that there is no fatality resulting from refusal to use footbridges. And so, Mr. Speaker, whilst commending him and encouraging education, very respectfully, I want to commend the contractor, Seaman, who is constructing the road linking CPC in my constituency to Asante Newtown, downtown to be specific, and encourage him to expedite work on the construction of the bridge linking the two electoral areas. Mr. Speaker, whilst at it, I'm also very respectfully calling on the local government minister to pay attention to the Crofro market, which has stalled very respectfully for many years. Because of the delay in the construction of Crofro market, sometimes it becomes necessary for people to cross from Crofro to Moro market. Mr. Speaker, that sometimes results in fatalities because there is no footbridge. And so, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, there's no footbridge. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is very necessary that the Crofro market is completed. Mr. Speaker, as far back as 2004, when the contract was signed, the cost of construction was 15 million cedis. Mr. Speaker, the delay has resulted in the ballooning of the contract price. Mr. Speaker, it is going to be a serious, it's going to cause a lot of loss to the taxpayer. Mr. Speaker, I recognize the effort of my predecessor, Dr. Matthew Puku Prempeh, in pushing for the completion of the Crofro market. Mr. Speaker, whilst commending him for the Crofro market, I want to also commend him for the work that he did for the construction of the CPC road. So, Mr. Speaker, very respectfully, wherever Dr. Matthew Puku Prempeh is, Mr. Speaker, this afternoon I want to commend him and also invite the local government minister very respectfully to complete the construction of the Crofro market. Mr. Speaker, this is my humble prayer. Mr. Speaker, thanks for indulging me.
My brother wants to portray like the usual bed issue. Yes, the tree and the bed. Yes. Why are you raising? I'm not calling you. I'm not calling you. So, honorable member for Menchia South, the Crofro market 204. I was working at KMA, so I know the genesis of it. Incidentally, the deputy minority leader was then the mayor for Kumasi, and the market has been there up to now. It's been there up to now. Anyway, that is another topic. So let him come to my brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm most grateful for the opportunity to comment on the statement made by the Honorable Member Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Mr. Speaker, there is no gainsaying the fact that many Ghanaian lives have been lost through accidents caused particularly at footbridges when pedestrians, instead of using such footbridges, attempt to cross the road under the footbridges. Mr. Speaker, as a country, we have tried many things to stop them. First is the provision of imprisonment or a fine. Mr. Speaker, we have not, as a country, by any indication, demonstrated any seriousness at enforcing those laws. And so since I passed out as a lawyer, I've never heard that anybody has been prosecuted for not using a footbridge where it has been provided. So clearly, it has become one of those laws that we have made to put in the beautiful shelves where they are gathering dust, Mr. Speaker. I think the best way to resolve this is to use the engineering bit of it. I believe that the reason why most pedestrians find it difficult to use the footbridges is because
Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in their sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, there have been no messages from His Excellency the President, no formal communication by the Speaker. We proceed to take item number 6, correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. Honourable members, the correction of votes and proceedings dated 14th day of February 2025, under consideration, page 1. Page 2. Honourable member, are you on your feet to correct the vote and proceedings? Honourable member, you are on your feet. Then, honourable member, take a seat. That's honourable Deputy Speaker. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Yes, Honourable Deputy Minority Whip.
Mr. Speaker, on page 6, even though the first members absent, there's no numbering from 1 to 5. And then the member for number 1, and by extension, page 7, 11, the deputy minority leader, and then item 28, they had leave with absence, and then it was duly transmitted. So I want to draw your attention to that. The deputy minority leader, item 11 on page 7, and then item 1 on page 6. I assume it's number 1, even though it's not numbered. Thank you.
Table office, take note of the numbering and the indication that the honourable member was absent with permission. Honourable members, page 8. Page 9. Yes, Honourable
Majority Whip. Prof, I'll come to you.
Okay. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, just to seek your guidance regarding the three separate statements that the Honorable Ministers for Tourism and Trade, as well as the Honorable Member for Ada, the First Deputy Majority Whip delivered. Mr. Speaker, even though it's in commemoration of the same event, it was captured that they were individually delivered. I thought that even though that was how you admitted it, I thought the table office could just say a joint statement. Just for your guide, it appears repetitive for me. Yeah.
I'm not really getting the concern that you are raising.
Three separate statements.
Yes.
To commemorate the same event.
Yes, we are taking jointly.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I thought that it could be captured so, but it's been stated that they were separately delivered, and members got opportunity to contribute to them separately, even though the event is the same.
Well, the delivery was separate.
Yes.
But the comment was joint comment.
Yes.
So it's really not a problem the way it is captured.
Very well. Speaker, I'm guided.
Thank you very much. Yes. Honorable Professor
Honorable Speaker,
Nyako.
this is a minor observation. It can be overlooked, but I just want us to be a bit specific. So, under item 9 statements, the last sentence, reverse the directive to protect the rights of affected citizens. I don't have any issues about that, but if you could make it a bit specific to protect the rights of the affected citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Table office, take note. Yes, Honorable Frank Afriye.
Speaker, thank you as always. I would like to, with your kind permission, invite you to page 9, item 4. I think the proper designation of Miss Comfort Doyle Kujo has not been captured per the record I have here. She is supposed to be the first Deputy Majority Whip.
You are correct.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Table office, take note. Honorable members in the app. Honorable Habib, are you on correction of vote and proceedings?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just wanted to seek clarification on the same item he mentioned, whether the Honorable Comfort Doyo is the first Deputy Majority Whip or the second Deputy Majority Whip, because it's captured here as second Deputy Majority Whip.
So, Honorable Habib, that is what exactly Honorable Frank Afriye has corrected, that it should read First Deputy Majority Whip instead of Second Deputy Majority Whip. And we heard him loud and clear. You didn't hear? Then we may probably have to get you a cotton bud. Thank you very much. Honourable members, in the absence of any further correction, the vote and proceedings
Speaker.
of... Yes, Honourable Kingsley Nyako.
Speaker, with respect, I need your guidance on page 10, the statement the Honourable Member for Asin North. If you come to the last sentence, it reads, he further called on the House to expedite action on the amendment to the citizenship laws of the country to enhance the participation of dual citizens to the governance framework of the country. So in the governance framework of the country. Speaker, I was not here on Friday, but I think I read a report last year where the Supreme Court ruled that there are certain positions in this country that can be occupied by persons who hold dual nationalities. The way, unless I'm wrong, you are a respected lawyer. My point is that if we say to enhance the participation, already my understanding is that that privilege is there. To enhance means that you need to promote it. But I was thinking that if my thinking is right, then why don't we make it to deepen the participation of...
To do what?
To deepen the participation of dual citizens in the governance framework of the country. Since
Honorable
you are a lawyer,
Professor
I need your guidance on that.
Kingsley Nyako, it's just a matter of semantics.
Right, Honorable Ahiafo, thank you very much.
Yes, and the fact that there was a judgment of the Supreme Court in respect of judges, that doesn't apply to members of parliament, ministers of state, and other key positions. So the statement is in the right directions, having regard to even Article 94 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, talking about the qualification of a member of parliament, and it will also affect Article 78 of the Constitution, talking about the qualification of you becoming a minister of state. So I believe the statement is in the right direction, so that we can take steps to amend the relevant laws to allow people with a dual citizenship to hold certain key positions in our governance structure.
Mr. Speaker, you are a lawyer of repute, and I am none. And I also know that per Article 94(2), you cannot be a member of parliament if you hold dual nationality. The way it is captured. My point is that already certain individuals with dual nationality can participate in our governance process. It is there. It is only in some instances where they cannot. But how it is couched, my understanding is that it seems that you are not going to enhance or promote it, but already there is some form of participation in certain regard. That is my point. That was why I'm saying that it's not just to enhance it, but if we say we have to deepen it, then it underscores the fact that those who are excluded, the areas of exclusion,
Honorable Professor Kingsley Nyako,
can be brought on board.
By applying the expressio union rule, those who are not included, those who are not debarred, those who are not barred from holding a position as a dual citizen cannot be in the contemplation of the maker of the statement in making this particular statement. So we cannot interpret the statement to include those who by law are not barred from holding the position as a result of their dual citizenship. Yes, Honorable Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, indeed, at this stage, the correction of votes and proceedings is actually in respect of matters that, because I recall the member for, I believe, the former chairman for Roots introduced a constitutional amendment, and we passed it before we left, regarding status of dual citizenship holding offices in some public offices. So we can avert the mind of the honorable member to that bill that was passed by this House, whether it's been assented to or not, I'm not aware. But regarding the correction of votes and proceedings, it was office didn't make any mistake in capturing it the way they did. We can draw the honorable member's attention to that. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Well, Honorable Majority Leader, I was part of the people who debated the second reading of the bill. And then it got to a consideration stage, but it was not passed.
And it got stuck. Very
Yes,
well.
it got
So,
stuck. It was
Mr.
not
Speaker,
passed.
I'm guided. But my point is that the table office captured the essence of the statement the way it was made.
On
and
that
it's
note,
accurate.
on that note,
And it's
you are
accurate.
right.
Yes,
but
yes.
Professor Kingsley Nyanko is trying to introduce some semantics, and based on his own interpretation. That is why we are bringing it to the fore that the statement is talking about positions that you cannot hold by virtue of you holding a dual citizenship. And the maker of the statement is not having in contemplation positions that you can hold when you are a dual citizen. So we should limit the understanding of the statement only to positions.
It's hot, the table, the crack at table had captured, and I have no promise about that. Thank you.
Honourable members, the vote and proceedings of the 18th sitting, dated Friday, 14 February 2025, as corrected, is adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, we have the official reports of Wednesday, 5th February 2025. Honourable members, any correction? Yes, Honourable Kingsley Nyako.
Honourable Speaker, thanks for indulging me. On column 9, column 9, under Mr. Ayariga, if you come with me to seventh line, he said, I assume that he was speaking on behalf of his backbench, who had raised the issue of quorum. If I remember correctly, it was Honorable Manshia South who raised the issue of quorum. And I'm thinking that if he was making reference to the person who made the application for quorum, then it should be backbencher, because it was not the entire backbench that raised or brought the application for quorum. It was an individual. So if you make it of his backbencher who had raised the issue of quorum, that is the first observation I've made. Then on column 12, the third paragraph. Mr. Speaker, I'm not against the application of Order 64, but as you can see, we have the numbers. And Mr. Speaker, if you read, they are the one insisting on quorum. If you could make it, they are the ones insisting on quorum. Then the next paragraph, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, honorable members, fortified by Order 64, marginal note, quorum in Parliament. Article 102 of the 1992 Constitution. Here it is stated 1992 of Constitution. So if we can delete the of, so it becomes 1992 Constitution. Then column 17. Column 17. The Speaker, on the th line, that think that my nephew is completely out of order. If we go to our standing orders 115, how we refer to our colleague members of parliament, honorable member for Kwadaso, honorable friend, honorable lady, honorable gentleman. My worry is my nephew, such renditions are not captured in our standing orders as to how we address our colleagues. I'm just bringing this to your attention, whether it is appropriate or we should go strictly by how we are supposed to refer to our colleagues. Then, Mr. Speaker.
So, honorable member, let's engage on the 17, the column 17, the issue regarding my nephew.
Okay.
My nephew is not known to the standing order, but that was what the member said, and that was what the Hansard has captured. The situation would have been different if a member takes an objection to it and the appropriate corrections were made. But since that was what happened on the floor of Parliament, and Hansard or the official report has captured it exactly the way it happens, the official report cannot be at fault. But I agree with you. That the correct designation should not have been my nephew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your guidance. Then let me take us to column 19. Column 19, I will skip that one for some obvious reason. Let me do the last one on column 23. 23, on line 11.
Which paragraph?
Column 23 on the 11th sentence. The record for Friday will show that instead of the news out there that we adjourned because we did not have the members. There are times the Hansard department can also make some errors, and that is understandable. If you say that instead of the news, I'm not sure whether that's what the honorable member said, but in spite of the news would be more appropriate. In spite of the news is different from instead of the news. No, the point is that we've been in this chamber, and at times certain renditions by members are written differently based on what they hear. So if I see it and I bring it to the attention of members, I'm not saying that I'm right, but let us look at the context. We were in the House when Honorable Joe Sewusu ruled that even though we are talking about verbatim reportage, we must also look at the context as to whether the context will make the sentence more sensible or otherwise. So, Mr. Speaker, my duty is to bring this to our attention as to whether it is instead or in spite of.
Please do. So
I'm saying that instead of it should be in spite of, because instead of is a bit weird. Look at the context and come again. Who said it doesn't matter? It matters. Context matters. Let us allow Mr. Speaker to make his judgment out of that. Thank you.
Honorable member, you are once again reminded that you address the chair. Any further corrections? Yes, Honorable Chief Whip.
Speaker, we have a provision on votes and proceedings and the correction of the Hansard. Speaker, you cannot be correcting the verbatim recording of another member. If there are typographical errors, you can do that. But words or
Statement only to positions you cannot hold by virtue of you being a dual
Mr.
citizen.
Speaker, I yield to your expert explanation and guidance. I began by saying that I was not here on Friday. However, I thought that the narration had a problem. But I'm happy to have been told that the right rendition is what the clerk at table had captured. And I have no problems about that. Thank you.
Honourable members, the vote and proceedings of the 18th sitting, dated Friday, 14 February 2025, as corrected, is adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honourable members, we have the official reports of Wednesday, 5th February 2025. Honourable members, any correction? Yes, Honourable Kingsley Nyako.
Honourable Speaker, thanks for indulging me. On column 9, under Mr. Ayariga, if you come with me to 7th line, he said, I assume that he was speaking on behalf of his backbench, who had raised the issue of quorum. If I remember correctly, it was Honorable Manshia South who raised the issue of quorum. And I'm thinking that if he was making reference to the person who made the application for quorum, then it should be backbencher, because it was not the entire backbench that raised or brought the application for quorum. It was an individual. So if you make it of his backbencher who had raised the issue of quorum, that is the first observation I've made. Then on column 12, the third paragraph. Mr. Speaker, I'm not against the application of Order 64, but as you can see, we have the numbers. And Mr. Speaker, if you read, they are the one insisting on quorum. If you could make it, they are the ones insisting on quorum. Then the next paragraph, Mr. First Deputy Speaker, honorable members, fortified by Order 64, marginal note, quorum in Parliament, Article 102 of the 1992 Constitution. Here it is stated 1992 of Constitution. So if we can delete the of, so it becomes 1992 Constitution. Column 17. Column 17. The Speaker, on the th line, that think that my nephew is completely out of order. If we go to our standing orders 115, how we refer to our colleague members of Parliament, honorable member for Kwadaso, honorable friend, honorable lady, honorable gentleman. My worry is my nephew, such renditions are not captured in our standing orders as to how we address our colleagues. I'm just bringing this to your attention, whether it is appropriate or we should go strictly by how we are supposed to refer to our colleagues.
The